I'm glad we are not videotaping this because I have almost as many wrinkles as Ben Hale does because we both have taught at Wesleyan for so many years. But wow, Dr. Hale finally going to start a new phase of his life tree. Yeah, so in the time that I have known Dr. Hale, he's been in many different locations at Wesleyan. Back in the day when they were down in the old Quonset huts before we built the library, and then they decided they wanted to have mass comm or communications over in the School of Business. And then they decided to move mass comm back into the School of Arts and Letters. So Ben has had many different offices and many different departments and deans that he has reported to in his time at Wesleyan. But now, Dr. Hale gets to report to a different boss, his new wife. So he's moving out of the Department of Communications into the Department of Newlywed and have to do, instead of reports and syllabi, he will just have to do those honey-do lists and think about the next place that they're going to travel or the next new book to see or the next new movie to watch. And all I have to say is, Dr. Hale, while I can't be with you here tonight, this is Joe Brown, one of your longtime colleagues, wishing you a wonderful, healthy, new, growing branch of your life tree and much happiness and success.
Well, I have always, until recently, observed Dr. Hale from afar. He was in mass communications. I was in the art department and would only see him from a distance. And some of my most significant stories come not from direct observation, but from hearing other stories of exotic travels by some of his colleagues. And Peter Colley and I were members of the art faculty together, and Peter and Dr. Hale went to Thailand together and with several other Wesleyan scholars, and it sounded like a fascinating exotic trip. One, I'd never been to Thailand and still haven't, and two, I had only kind of heard tell of Dr. Hale. The story that I remember Peter telling the most was that they had arrived and they were staying in this strawed, exotic guest house, and he was going to go out for a walk. Dr. Hale was going to go out for a walk and kind of look at the grounds, and he started out, and he was called back by one of the guides and said, I just want to tell you the path here is beautiful and you'll enjoy it, but don't go in that direction there. And Dr. Hale said, oh, and he was kind of eyeballing that direction because it looked interesting as well. And he said, but the path looks good. And the guide said, but the cobras live there. So to me, that just fueled the fire of exoticness and travel and different locations. So I had that sensibility with Dr. Hale. My impression of him is he is a consummate educator and has lived several secret exotic lives that every once in a while bubble to the surface, but that he comes from a family of educators and is very invested in learning and intellectual curiosity and pursuits, and in sharing that with the students that have been lucky enough to share his time here at Wesleyan with him.
When I came here, this was not my first choice to come to, but when I came here, Dr. Hale made me feel really very much at home. And within I can't remember if it was 2 or 3 years, he contacted me via email and he said, I want to nominate you for the Earl Brown Award. Could you send me your CV? I had no idea what the Earl Brown Award was. And so I sent him my CV. And then I found out that the Earl Brown Award was the top award for faculty here at Texas Wesleyan. Well, I'd only been here, 2 or 3 years. And I was I just couldn't believe that he would even consider nominating me for the award. And I won. And so that particular thing was just amazing. Just out of the blue, he emails me and says, hey, I want to nominate you for this award. Had given me no indication that he was even thinking about it or anything. He just did it. And, you know, that's kind of the person that Dr. Hale is. He just quietly behind the scenes does things, and they're great. He is a character. He has such a great sense of humor, and he's such a sweet person.
Hi, I'm Alexis Belton, and Dr. Hale has impacted my life like none other. I remember the first day on campus for classes. It was the first class that I had, and I walked in terrified and scared, and I was first one there, and he was there, and he just chatted with me about life for a good 10 minutes because, yes, I was at least 20 minutes early. And, and he made me feel comfortable about the class and about the school. And as time went on, just developing a relationship with Dr. Hale and getting to know him, and he's just incredible in helping me in my schoolwork from every aspect. At first, I was a little slow with understanding how to do things, and just very hands-on, and always, his door's always open to walk in and just talk, whether it's about school or life or just to see what he's up to in his office. Probably one of the greatest memories I can remember is setting up an appointment to meet with Dr. Hale, and I walked in his office. I knocked on the door, walked in. He was passed out in his like little recliner chair in his office, and that's probably one of the memories I'll always hold because it summed up his personality 100%. Just a chill, laid-back guy, and he was definitely laid back.
Dr. Hale was one of the first mass communications professors that I was in contact with my freshman year. I remember kind of being frustrated how he seemed to always give more questions than he ever gave answers during lectures. But now looking back, it is amazing how much he really made us think and figure things out for ourselves. How even though it may have been frustrating at the time, looking back, I really learned more than I would have if I had just been given an answer. And it was amazing the things that we were able to teach ourselves and figure out ourselves through his guidance and direction. And it really prepared us for the future when we're not going to have, professors there, beside us in the workplace, but really being able to learn to think for ourselves and have that thought process. Dr. Hale always was also so happy and friendly anytime I saw him.
Anytime I would pass Dr. Hale around campus and say, "Hey, Dr. Hale, how are you doing?" Never failed. He would always say, "I'm doing great now that I've seen you." And he always would greet people in the sweetest ways.
Hi, Dr. Hale. It's Bo Carter, your old friend from across the hall at O.C. Armstrong Hall. I want to thank you for helping the hall not being burned down by your melting light bulb in the fall of 2013. Seriously, want to wish you heartiest congratulations on your honor and your thing. Thanks for serving Texas Wesleyan for 4 decades, and just an amazing story that you compiled there. And just thanks for all the thousands of lives you touched. Believe me, you have been a wonderful asset for the school, and just want to wish you all the best in love and education. Have a wonderful life. Thanks for all you've done.